Wer rettet die Welt?
Welcome to the Ö1 podcast on the Vienna Climate Biennale. Until July the 14th, the Climate Art Festival invites you to engage with the social effects of climate change and to search for ways to create a sustainable future worth living. In addition to ecological aspects, it's important to the curating team to emphasise and promote the aspect of cooperation within the framework of the festival. Artistic strategies and scientific principles are to be short-circuited with the expertise that arises from people working together, and thus leads to solutions that are meaningful and feasible for the people involved. How can future issues be negotiated together? How can the individual be empowered to help shape the future? How can abstract global issues be made tangible? What solutions do we need to make climate modernity a reality? The Future Lab project, which the Vienna Climate Biennale is implementing in collaboration with Volkshilfe Wien, was launched at the beginning of April with these questions in mind. The programme, which is not open to the public, encourages participants to reflect on climate change, ecology and sustainability. A tandem of art and science. Theatre director Christine Eder and behavioural biologist Elisabeth Oberzaucher accompanies two groups. Since summer 2023, women from different walks of life have been living together as neighbours in the Hafen Wien in Vienna's 19th district. The project manager and harbour master is Elisabeth Oberzaucher.
This is the
Hafen Wien. We have 29 apartments for women with and without children and a shared flat with 9 rooms. We're fully occupied. There are almost 40 children in the house. The women come from very different backgrounds. There are young students, there are women who work. There are also 2 pensioners here. We have small apartments with just 1 room, 2 rooms and 3-room apartments, and the residents pay a monthly rent.
For the Future Lab, interested parties regularly meet in the communal living room. The idea of what the group's work should consist of came about through discussions with each other. In the end, they agreed to liven up the still somewhat bare, cool stairwell with the help of works of art on fabric panels. Behavioural biologist Elisabeth Oberzaucher on how it began.
The first meetings were about getting to know each other, and then we looked at what moves the residents and where we could pick them up. The idea of the project is not that we somehow come in from the outside and say, here's what we're going to do now, but the idea of the project was that we develop something together with the residents. And we were very open to ideas and results. In other words, we didn't know what was coming, and then, based on what the residents told us, we decided to paint together with them and simply make the stairwell friendlier and a little less noisy.
They now work regularly on this joint idea. The first results, which are well worth seeing, have already adorned the shared home, changing the space as well as the community. Christine Eder.
And yet, we're in a zone where it's all about sharing time and resources. Who can provide what? The house is very much about sharing. They share times when they look after their children, and there's no set structure. People live together who don't know each other, but have now ended up in a joint project and have to share rooms, washing machines, and resources. And of course, there are also points of friction.
There are already signs that the Future Lab is having an impact on the everyday lives of the residents. Elisabeth Oberzaucher is cautiously optimistic.
What we're noticing now is that we have house meetings, for example, and up to now, it's always been the case that we've brought the topic with us. And now, for the first time, the residents themselves have requested topics. I'm not sure whether that's because this project is taking place or whether it's simply because they've all arrived now. What I do notice is that self-efficacy is something that develops. It's a process. And the more the women feel safe, the more that happens. And that's a very, very important point.
Das ist ein ganz, ganz wichtiger Punkt.
The second group of the Future Lab also focuses on open-ended cooperation. Job Train is a project of the Volkshilfe Wien, in which young people from the age of 15 can take advantage of a stable daily structure to define their first personal goals and learn skills that can be helpful in their professional lives. Work is carried out in various groups. The Art and Design Group takes part in the Climate Biennale project. Coach and project leader Philipp Güselnik.
We noticed in our group that the young people are at an age where they are addressing a lot of topics, and that there's a lot of worry. What will the future be like? What will happen next? Whether it's about the climate or very practical issues such as, how do I afford an apartment? How do I get money? How do I manage to work at all? So future topics are a very big issue. And this project also gives young people the opportunity to deal with them in an artistic way, which is new for many of them.
While the focus in the Hafen Wien is on visual design, the young people in Job Train work together on a performance. Director Christine Eder.
We'll see. The project is also open-ended and open to presentation because the young people there also have to deal with very different problems. Whether something really comes out of it in the end that you show, or whether you just do it internally, or whether it's just a video or just the written word, that's all still open. We'll just see.
In both Future Lab projects, the close connection between global issues that concern us and personal life situations becomes clear. Christine Eder and Elisabeth Oberzaucher emphasise that we will not move forward with fear-based action and that joint action achieves what we need, self-empowerment and self-confidence.
This is actually something where you have to be careful that people don't sit in the corner like frightened rabbits in this climate anxiety and stop moving and get stuck in despair. The increase in mental health problems among young people is really worrying. It certainly has something to do with the fact that this sense of self-efficacy is being lost. And that's why it's very, very important to give them hope that if they contribute something and form a community, this community factor is also very important here. The moment I see that everyone around me is also moving a little, then I have a completely different feeling and hope suddenly arises. And if I have hope that what I'm doing can make a difference, then I'll stick with it. But if I have the feeling that no, it's no use anyway, then I can carry on as I always have. And that's what I see as very central, especially with the Job Train project, that these dark storm clouds, where you think it's about to be night at noon, that you disperse them a little and let a few rays of sunshine through again.
And that was
Wer rettet die Welt?
Created by Uli Leitner, spoken by Rosie Waits, Julie McCarthy and Tom Midler.